is Councilman Victor Jones. We are here for the September 16th Finance Committee meeting for the City of High Point. Here present with me in council chambers are Mayor Wagner, Councilwoman Peters, and Councilman Holmes. I'm filling in for Britt Moore as today's chair. Our first item on the agenda is item 2021-393, a resolution to retire and sale of police K-9 gunner.
Well, I'll take this item, sir. I'm sorry. The chief was able to join us. So as you know, we occasionally have police K-9 units that as they age out, they're very difficult to retrain with a new trainer. So our K-9 officer has promoted, and so this dog is ending his useful life cycle as a K-9 officer. It would be very difficult to retrain him with a new handler, and so we are asking that this K-9 officer be surplused and allowed to remain with his trainer, and that we sell this K-9 officer to the handler. We've already purchased and budgeted and purchased for a new K-9 officer.
Any questions for staff? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve item 2021-393. Do I have a second?
Second.
That's a second by Councilman Holmes. Any discussion? Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Councilman Jones votes aye. Motion passes. Next item is 2021-394, contract Sourcewell, James River Equipment, John Deere Wheel Loader, MRF, Materials Recycling Facility.
Good afternoon.
Thanks.
The Material Recycling Facility Center is currently using a 2010 John Deere 524K wheel loader with over 15,000 hours. It is reaching the end of its useful life, and James River Equipment has the John Deere 524P wheel loader, which will continue to meet their needs. The price of $164,732 is for the wheel loader, extended warranty, operator training, and delivery. The last unit sold on Gov Deals was $34,063, and the delivery is estimated at 120 to 150 days. The funds are available in the 21-22 budget, and Fleet Services Department does recommend purchasing this unit from James River Equipment.
You said the last one went for 34?
$34,060.
Wow, that's pretty good recovery. Okay. Any questions for staff? Hearing none, I'll make a motion we approve item 2021-394.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Peters. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Councilman Jones is an aye. That motion passes. Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is 2021-395. Contract with North Carolina Sheriff's Association Procurement, Piedmont Truck Center, Dennis Eagle Side Loading Refuse Truck.
Okay. The Environmental Services Division is currently using a Mack truck with a New Way side loading body that has between 9,500 and 10,000 hours. This truck is used for residential garbage collection and needs to be replaced due to age and hours. The Dennis Eagle truck with New Way side loading refuse body configuration is similar to the ones currently used and will meet their needs. The price of $331,462.65 includes one truck, refuse body installation, and delivery. The Dennis Eagle will be utilized as a demo for 3 months, and the city will receive the unit after this period, which will result in a discounted price and shorter delivery window. The warranty period will begin upon delivery to the city, and the last unit sold on Gov Deals for $73,100. The funds are available in the 21-22 budget, and Fleet Services Department recommends purchasing the Dennis Eagle.
Any questions for staff? Hearing none, I'll make a motion we approve item 2021-395. Second. Second by the mayor. Any discussion? Hearing none, Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones is an aye. The motion passes. Our next item is 2021-396, contract change order number 2 and number 3 to Samet Corporation, CMR, City Lake Park renovation project.
Assistant City Manager Greg Ferguson, I'll be handling this one. We had 2 contract change orders that come up in the course of the project. One resulted from the identification of a large amount of concrete that was not budgeted in the initial scope of work. As you're aware, this pool was built in the 1930s and has been renovated a couple times. And so we had almost 2 feet of concrete, and some of the attached photos showed kind of what they found there that they had to tear out. So we had additional concrete demolition and removal. And then also, once we got through that, we recognized that that's probably some of the larger contingency items that we thought might be there without knowing. So we feel pretty comfortable that we're not going to find anything huge as far as contingency. The city did budget $795,000, which is 4% of the project cost for this very purpose. And so of that, $344,415 would still be left in that contingency line. And that would help us to take care of the cost of the concrete demolition that was there. And then also put back a cushioned surface in the kids' play area that had been value engineered out to try to get the cost down. But in looking at that further, that really needs to be there versus a concrete landing area. And so those are the two major components that we wanted to highlight on those two change orders for you. Be happy to take any questions.
Doesn't seem like it's too far out of what was projected.
No, and it's so far going pretty well. Just that one amount of concrete there was unknown.
Yeah, I just have a comment. So I'm the liaison for the Parks and Rec, and so I was at the last meeting when they talked about it. It was just like, I was like, oh, what do you do with all that concrete? I mean, like, blow it up? But no, you can't blow it up. You just have to kind of keep digging and digging and digging. But wow, they were surprised, and I guess that's what happens with projects. Just like when your own home, sometimes you're going to go fix something and there's something else there. So,
Went through that last year.
but so they've done a great job, and I'm glad that they found a way to dig through it, bust through the concrete. So.
What's the completion, supposed to be the completion date on that project?
So the target date is Memorial Day of 2022.
Okay.
We're going to be very, very pushed to get that target date accomplished because of the many challenges with supply chain and things that are going on, but that's what we are shooting for.
You have questions? No. Hearing none, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Councilman Holmes. Any discussion? Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Councilman Jones, aye. The motion passes. Our next item is 2021-397, contract with South Atlantic Fireproofing Enterprises, Transportational Terminal Column Maintenance and Repairs.
Good afternoon. Engineering Services Department is recommending contract approval for transportation terminal column maintenance and repairs, and this is located directly in front of the High Point Theater. The work will include mobilization, removal of delaminated fireproofing, surface prep, steel prime coating, fireproof patching, and repainting of columns. At the bid opening on August the 11th, we only received one bid, and that was from South Atlantic Fireproofing Enterprises in the amount of $432,800. This was well above the budget allowance the transportation had, so we were able to meet with them and negotiate that price down since it was a informal bid and we only had one bid received. From that, we were able to eliminate work zone traffic control from the contract, which saved us $110,000 because our transportation department agreed to provide that service on their behalf. And we were also able to reduce the fireproofing repair from 3,600 square feet to 1,800 square feet. And that was based on the contractor's professional opinion of what was needed to do the work. So with those reductions, we were able to reduce the contract bid amount to $236,400. And this work is scheduled to commence immediately after the spring market.
That's impressive, from 400 and some change down to that. Good job.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
The reduction, it's half of what they, in terms of the square feet, it's half of what they suggested. Are we going to lose any functionality because of that reduction?
No, the initial estimate that was put in there was roughly 50% of the square footage of the columns themselves. And so they felt like that was way more than what was going to be needed.
Okay.
So the 25% was roughly what they were expecting to see. And this is actually the same contractor that did the initial fireproofing of the columns whenever it was originally constructed.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve item 2021-397.
Second.
Is that Councilman Holmes?
Yep.
Second by Councilman Holmes. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones is an aye, the motion passes. Our next item is 2021-398, construction agreement, North Carolina Department of Transportation, Highway, Water, Sewer, Utilities, Bridge Replacement, Scientific Street.
Yes, good afternoon. This is utility construction agreement, bridge numbers 400052 on Scientific Street. The attachments are utility construction agreement and cost estimate, and utility construction drawing showing vicinity and project limits. The city has budgeted for utility construction costs associated with upcoming NCODT bridge replacement on Scientific Street. North Carolina Department of Transportation has prepared plans to replace the bridge, which consists of installing a new culvert downstream of the existing culvert and shifting Scientific Street to the east of the existing alignment. The city of High Point owns water and sewer utilities that will be impacted by the project's construction and will be responsible for the portion of the utility construction costs in an estimated amount of $707,737.90. All utility work will be performed by NCDOT's construction contractor. The project is scheduled to open for bid December 2021, and construction could begin as early as February 2022. Public Service recommends approval of the utility construction agreement, and the appropriate city official and/or employee be authorized to execute all necessary documents to finalize the agreement with NCDOT in the estimated amount of $707,737.90.
Thank you, Terry. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Second by Councilwoman Peters. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones is an aye, that motion passes. Our next item is 2021-399, ordinance on bulk collections, environmental services.
This is a solid waste ordinance update. As you know, the environmental services within public service provides garbage, recycling, yard waste, and bulk item collection services weekly throughout the city. Bulk item collection volumes continue to increase and often delayed if staffing or equipment shortages are encountered. Council approved transitioning to bi-weekly bulk collection on August 16th meeting. Environmental Services is preparing to transition to bi-weekly bulk collection. Part of the transition process will be aligning the attached ordinance. Public Service recommends updating the ordinance to reflect the transition to bi-weekly bulk collection. If you look at the attachment, the changes are in red.
Speaking of, how are those drivers doing? With the truck,
Say again, I'm sorry.
how the drivers doing?
Oh, the drivers? The last I heard, they're still in the hospital.
Okay. All right, any questions for Terry on this item? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Peters. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones is an aye. 21-399 passes. Our next item is 2021-400, contract amendment number 2, Tetra Tech Watershed Assessment Framework, Phase 3.
Yeah, this is Amendment 2 for the Watershed Assessment Framework Phase 3 with Tetra Tech. The attachment is the scope of work, the amendment of Watershed Framework Phase 3 flood and stormwater modeling. This amendment modifies the original agreement entered in July 2020 with Tetra Tech for Phase 1 of the project. The purpose of Phase 3 is to assist city with flood model development, stormwater model development, and support compliance with water supply protection and regulations. City of High Point is responsible to its citizens and business for managing water quality. and the quality while maintaining compliance with state and federal regulations. This involves managing stormwater runoff, treating wastewater, protecting water quality, providing water supply for drinking water, and a recreational destination for people interested in boating, fishing, golfing, and camping and other outdoors. Phase 1 was started July 2020, and the team, Tetra Tech Engineering Services, Parks and Recreation and Public Services established goals of assessment across the departments. Specified objectives under each goal identified water quality and water quality indicators related to each objective. Phase 2 was initiated in March of 2021, which included the construction of watershed models to support watershed planning and management. Phase 3, Tetra Tech will assist the city with the 3 primary tasks. Task 1, flood model development for the headwaters of Richland Creek. Task 2, stormwater model development for selected regions of the city experiencing problems related to excessive stormwater runoff. Task 3, identify and locate potential contaminant sources and evaluate the relative threat to the city water supply plan. Public Service recommends approval of the Amendment 2 to Tetra Tech for $150,000. I will say there will be a Phase 4. It should begin in June of 2022, and it builds off the results of this study. It recommends what needs to be done to correct based on criticality, which is the highest on the list. And we must complete this by December of 2022 to meet EPA and state requirements.
If that deadline is not met, what will the outcomes?
What would be the penalty?
Yeah, what will be the
I don't
penalties?
know. I'm sure there would be some penalty.
Let's try not to find out.
We'll make it, though.
Well, good. All right, any other questions?
Terry, have some of these, I'm not very familiar with stormwater, but I'm learning. But I know that Southwest Renewal Foundation had written some grants and had received some money for stormwater and clean water type projects. Is that?
This might help you qualify for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good, okay.
Any questions, Mike? Hearing none, make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Councilman Peters. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mayor, how do you vote? Aye. Councilman Jones and I. Motion passes. Next item is 2021-401, sole source contract, Precision Safe Sidewalks LLC, sidewalk and curbing repair.
Yeah, this is a sole source for the sidewalk trip hazard removal. The attachments are the sidewalk trip hazard removal proposal, a sole source justification form, and a sole source letter. The city budgets on an annual basis removal, replacement, or alternative repair methods for the city of High Point maintained sidewalks. Based on the identified needs and available funding, multiple locations of the sidewalk have been identified to be repaired within the central business district. The city of High Point prefers sidewalk replacements repairs on an annual basis. The list of areas to be repaired are generated from Street Maintenance Division. The non-intrusive repair method consists of grinding the sidewalk trip hazard to meet ADA compliance. Precision Safe Sidewalk possesses the patented technology to perform the work. The technology is less intrusive in dig and replace while much quicker and much less expense. Public Service recommends approval of the contract and asks for council to award Precision Safe Sidewalks LLC in the amount of $32,632.
Thank you, Terry. Any questions?
I just have a kind of question or comment, but anyways, I looked over all those and areas, and that's great. It's all in that Callis project that goes down into the Market District, and I've walked some of those areas, and yes, it really, really needs some help. And then I also just want, kind of for the records and for folks to know that, I know that in November 2019, voters voted on some other sidewalk projects. I've gotten several calls from folks in the Burton Run neighborhood and the Juanita Hills and all the neighborhoods west of like the Food Line in Westchester. And there is a really great need for that sidewalk to be built. Of all the areas that I drive through and see, I see the most people walking on that area in the road with the child and a bag from the food line. So I just want, I know that it's in the docket, and I think Mr. McCausland said possibly the first of 2022. I'm hoping and praying that maybe we can get some bids in by the end of 2021 and hopefully start. But anyway, I just
We
wanted to
should bid,
comment.
we should bid by, in 2021, but we would not technically award the contract until the fiscal year of 2022. Wait a minute. I'm talking about fiscal year of 2023.
I wish we could
You
just.
forgot. I'm a short timer.
All the sidewalks would be everywhere like magic. That'd be great.
Well, on that thought process, I know we do an assessment of the streets, what, every 3 years? Is that right?
Yes.
And based on that consulting firm's update report, that's where we assign our resources to do street repairs and paving. What, in that same study, do they also, is that where we get our walkability study that tells us where the biggest needs are for sidewalks in the city?
Not for the PCS study, no.
Okay. How do we get that data? That
The
would,
data is compiled by us. We
Okay.
do the assessments.
Transportation does that.
they do, okay. And do we get presented that?
Terry's talking about something different.
Yeah, I know.
We're talking about the pavement study. Mark and his group puts together the sidewalk, information. And
We don't do an assessment of condition of sidewalk, that's a public service. But we do maintain a list of sidewalk needs based on, series of factors like traffic volumes and pedestrian volumes, and proximity to schools and commercial areas and things like that. And we have those, that list ranked out as far as what we can and cannot forward at any given time.
Yeah, I ask Randy about every other month when Waterview's gonna get sidewalks. But I'd like to see that data so that I can, be able to show them, this is the reason why I may or may not be able to get that for you. Or, Councilwoman Peters' point, that would be good information for her to have, to be able to see, because her need would probably fall higher on that priority list based on foot traffic than mine would.
Well, and it was also on the, what was that called?
her issue will be taken care of with the bond project.
Awesome.
Right, with the bond, but now you just have to wait.
Yeah.
So
It'll be
I
good to see
just
that.
hope nobody dies because it's, several people have seen almost fatal accidents occur, so anyway, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Comments or questions for staff? Here now to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Councilman Holmes. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones and I. Motion passes. The next item is 2021-402, an agreement contract attorney Fred Baggett.
Hey, good afternoon. It's Joanne Carlisle, your city attorney. This is a request for council to approve a 3-year agreement with Fred, who is the former city attorney for High Point, of course, to continue providing representation and promoting the city's interest in, down at the legislator's office or in Raleigh. Of course, Fred lives in Raleigh now and everything as well. And again, he's been doing this for us for, I think, 3 years at this point, so it's kind of a renewal of the contract.
And is he, the funds of that come out from your department, since it's legal?
I am not sure. They may actually come through the manager's department.
I honestly don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
I believe that they come out of the managers, and from the manager's department, because we've tried to track down some of the, making sure the payments were made in the past and had to go there for that information.
Fair enough. Any other questions? Hearing none.
do.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm so talkative tonight. So, now I know that we typically use a lot of outside counsel any given year. Do we have a budget for that, for all of outside counsel, other than just Fred Baggett?
Well, Fred doesn't really act as outside counsel as much as he does as a lobbyist on behalf of the city, so those are entirely different things. We try to keep our budget as far as outside attorneys for litigation and those other services as low as possible. A lot of that is out of our control because it's dependent upon how many lawsuits and those types of, things that we have to get involved in that we don't expect.
What do lobbyist services entails? Is it state, federal, is it everywhere?
It is state. Fred does a really good job of, attending committee meetings, making me the manager, the mayor, et cetera, aware of certain items that are going on, and so that we can voice, to you all what is going on, make sure that everybody's up to date, and know that if there's something that we need to get behind in support of or in opposition, engage the League of Municipalities and whomever else, our local delegation.
But then Jennifer Emo would be on the national level.
Yes,
Right.
for the Ferguson group.
Right. Any question?
Motion approved. Second.
Motion approved by Mayor. We have a second by Councilman Holmes. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones and I, that motion passes. Next item is 2021-403, a contract with Cigna Renewal, Employee Health Dental Care.
Good afternoon. This is a request to renew the contract between Cigna and the City of High Point for the employees' health insurance for the plan year January 1 through December 31st, 2022. Last month, the insurance broker, Mark Browder, came in and did a presentation and explained the reason why he was recommending a 5.61% increase, and it was based on our claims experience. As far as the 5.61% increase, the city will absorb the full cost for active employees, and then that 5.61% will be equally distributed between the city and the retirees. And staff will initiate conversations in the summer and start this process over again, because our goal is to eventually move to being from fully insured to self-insured. And as far as the reserve funds, right now we have 3.2 million saved, so we're looking really good. We definitely believe we may have an opportunity to shift to that next year. So we'll bring that conversation to you in the summertime and talk about the numbers again and go over our insurance experience that we've had for the first 2 quarters of the year to give you an idea of where we stand. Because that's been a goal, and it's something we've talked about every year we've come in front of you. So we are much closer than we have been, and we're looking forward to that. Again, this will those conversations will be for 2023. And what I have is just a request for you to authorize the city manager to execute a 12-month contract with Cigna for the plan year of January 1, 2022 through December 31, 2022.
Thank you, Angela. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Comment.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like I would have felt cheated if I didn't get a question.
Coffee or something. I've got so many comments. No, that's awesome, and I just wanted to make the comment that my husband has the only TPA in High Point that does self-funded and partially self-funded, and he's offered to be a free consultant to the city to help look at some of those numbers. So, and I know I've kind of told you that, and I just wanted to say it. He's happy to do free consulting to help with the numbers for the self-funded or partially self-funded. So
Okay.
that's all.
I appreciate that.
We got a motion by Councilman Holmes. Do I have a second? Second. Second by the mayor. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones and I, that motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item is 2021-404, resolution in support of state building reuse grant for Mickey truck bodies.
Good afternoon. We would just request that you consider approving a resolution of support for Mickey truck bodies. The state of North Carolina has been working with Mickey in regard to a building reuse grant. And at this point in time, the request is only for a resolution of support in order for them to be the recipients of $100,000. So if we could have that on the council agenda on Monday for consideration, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Which property is it? I think I got a couple.
It's on Faust Avenue. They bought David Miller's properties down
Yeah.
there, so it's an expansion opportunity for them.
Monica?
Motion approved.
Motion by the mayor.
Second.
Second by Councilman Peters. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Peters, how do you vote? Mr. Mayor, how do you vote? Aye. And Councilman Jones is an aye. That motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Our next item is 2021-405, sponsorship of Go Far Fall Event.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the Go Far organization has requested that the city sponsor the fall event that will occur in November. Traditionally, the city has sponsored their spring race, which occurs up at the Piedmont Center. But given that COVID has really impacted their ability to have a larger race and cancellation of one race, they've asked that we provide services for their fall race. Staff estimates that the traffic and police cost would be about a $4,800 in-kind sponsorship. And this was heard yesterday before the Prosperity and Livability Committee and was forwarded to the council with a unanimous favorable vote.
Would this still come out of the nonprofit allocations?
Well, it's not direct funding, it's in-kind services, so this is essentially just a one-time add to the special event sponsorship.
Special event, gotcha, yeah. Any questions?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Councilman Peters.
Second.
Second by Councilman Holmes. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote? Aye. Councilwoman Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Councilman Jones is an aye. The motion passes. Our last item on the agenda is 2021-422, temporary reduction in parking rates.
Yes, sir. We have had a request that due to the impact that the COVID pandemic has had on the furniture market attendance, that the city consider reducing for a 6-month period our parking rates at our parking decks. So those rates in 2020 were raised from $25 to $35 a month. We have 53 parking clients that rent a total of 487 spaces year-round in order that their customers and employees will have parking spaces during the furniture market. So the request of council is to reduce those rates back to the $25 rate level until from the period of time from July of 2021 till the end of the year, 2021 year, and then they will automatically go back up to the approved rate that council has recently approved. This will have a $29,220 effect on our revenue budget, but it's a request that we feel should be granted by the city council.
Why does it go to the end of the year, not just like to the end of October if this is based around market participation?
Because they have different events after furniture market that the same lessees will use the spaces for.
Any questions? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Peters. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones and I, motion passes. Any other business needs to come forward this committee? All right, none, hearing none, we are adjourned.
Excellent.